Alright, so here we have the elderberry juice that I extracted from these elderberries. You can see that I've let them sit over this bowl and pretty much all the juice has come out. I cooked them longer than I normally would, so what happened was the berries, they burst open completely and then the pulp takes on the color of the elderberries themselves. If I had only let them go till the point where the juice started to come out of the berries would have a more white appearance than they have. So anyhow, here's the juice. I haven't put anything in it. I'm going to simmer it for about 30 minutes. I brought it to a boil. Now I'm going to simmer it for about 30 minutes. And what that will do is it will kill off the yeasts and anything else nasty that might be in there, but primarily you do this to kill the yeast. Then I will sweeten it. So I will come back. Okay, so I brought this to a boil, and well, first I strained it a couple of times. I used just my strainers. I guess I strained this twice. There was a lot of berries, threw those out, and then this was what was left. So it's pretty thick. I boiled it. I brought it to a boil. Then I reduced the volume by half by simmering. I put it in the refrigerator because I ran out of time. And so this is what I've got to work with now. It's a nice thick juice. What I've decided to do, instead of make this into pancake juice syrup, I'm going to make it into like a winter tonic. Elderberry is full of all sorts of things, antioxidants and vitamin C. It's wonderful as like a, something you take to ward away colds. So, in the interest of that, I'm going to put two packages of this antioxidant tea mixture that I've made up. I'm going to link my video from last year where I showed you how to make this stuff. And basically all it is some turmeric and ginger in the fresh turmeric and ginger, incidentally, from the root, ground up in my Vitamix and put into these little packets in the freezer. I like to, I'll make a tea out of this when I'm feeling a lot of inflammation. And so, since this water is still quite hot, or the juice is quite hot, I'm going to go ahead and, stir this until this stuff is incorporated. Then, once it's down to just kind of a warm, then I'm going to add a cup of this honey. This happens to be something I've had lying around for a while. It's Subi clover honey. It's this stuff. I would rather use a local honey, for the properties that has for keeping allergies away and so forth. But I'm going to use what I've got. That's my motto. Use what you've got. So anyhow, what I will do is I'm going to simply dissolve all of this stuff in the mixture and just put it in a jar, and I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. Okay, so now that I'm done, I put, I filled up this little jar to the top with the concoction, and the rest of it got put into Ziploc bags. I put them in the freezer. I'm always afraid of things spoiling in the refrigerator in big quantities, so I freeze what I can. Then I got myself a little tonic water, and with about 2 tablespoons, which is a bigger dose than you would normally take, I made a little cocktail. So let's just see. I haven't tasted it yet. Let's see how it tastes. Oh, that's good. I love elderberry. Elderberry is extremely tart because of all the vitamin C in it, and it just has a marvelous flavor. So here is my elderberry winter tonic to ward away colds. I want to show you guys something real quick before I finish this. As many of you guys know, I had a clothing store back in the 1990s, 80s and 90s. Well, everything that was in the store, I decorated. I'd go to Los Angeles, I'd drive to LA, buy a bunch of clothing blanks, you know, t-shirts and leggings and this and that. I would bring them home and I would decorate them, paint them and so forth. I also made some jewelry, nothing like what I'm making now. Mostly friendly plastic. I don't know if you guys remember friendly plastic, but it was everywhere back in the 1990s. So I had a bunch of friendly plastic jewelry and clothing like this. This is an ugly Christmas sweater made for a kid. Look at that. Is that wild? It makes noise. Okay. You look at this thing and you say to yourself, who in their right mind would buy this for their child? Well, those of you old enough to remember will remember that way back in the early 1990s, that kind of stuff was really popular. I mean, you know, you'd just fling a bunch of glitter paint on something and you'd tie some lace together and you'd hot glue it to the shoulders and done and done. That stuff flew out of the store. I wish I had kept a record of how many t-shirts and sweatshirts I sold that were decorated like that. Just, it was a lot. So, anyway, I was thinking about ugly Christmas sweaters because I saw Bridget Jones' Baby, and in one of the shots they were showing Bridget Jones and Mr. Darcy when they met wearing their ugly Christmas sweaters. So when I was going through stuff that I'm going to throw out, I pulled this out of the throw out pile because I wanted you guys to see it. So, that's that. I've been finishing up, oh, you know what? I'm going to call these fairy ring mug mats because they've got little fairy rings around them this has amethyst and little purple beads, ceramic beads. This has amethyst and rose quartz with the purple ceramic beads. I'm really beginning to dial this in, and although I don't have it to show you, I had backed the first ones with felt. Now what I'm doing is I'm crocheting a backing out of the yarn that out of this yarn here. This yarn that I made, okay, it came from my alpacas in my yard. Well, now I'm crocheting these little discs, and they're getting hot glued to the back. So just like felt, it keeps your tabletop from getting marred, but they're really pretty on the back too. So I think that's the last, you know, finishing touch I needed to call these kind of done in the design stage. Then I finished up a cute little basket. This is kind of reminiscent of the basket that I made for Cynthia. Her channel is Old Broad. We do the masking videos every few weeks together. And I thought that looked neat with it's got amethyst, this little rock, which I have no idea what it actually is, so that one needs to be glued down. And then those purple beads that I'm really into. So, you know, I'm getting it all dialed in bit by bit. I'm looking forward to this craft show being over, because then I can throw myself into getting ready for my house party on the 21st and getting ready for the next craft show. I'm going to do another one in November. It's another local craft show. It's up at well, it used to be the middle school, now it's the elementary school. You'd think that a craft show at an elementary school wouldn't be that great, but it's a big deal. It's a big deal for locals. Everybody shows up, and there's a lot of really nice quality stuff there. It's neat. It's not your typical school carnival craft show. And in part it's because our community is so small that when an event like that happens, it becomes something that everybody goes to. So I'm looking forward to that one. And that should do me for craft shows until next spring sometime. I need to start taking a look at what's available and figuring out what I want to do. So, on that note, I'm going to say bye-bye. Incidentally, on this elderberry syrup, you can buy dried elderberries online. So, if you don't have fresh elderberries handy, you can certainly buy them dried online. So, think about making this. It tastes wonderful. It just makes you feel like you're doing something good for yourself for every day if you take a teaspoon of it. And it really does help to ward off colds, or it has for me. Let me put it to you that one. So, on that note, I'm going to say bye, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!